Hey, you guys. Hope you had a great day. We are getting ready here in our home in our county to return to school tomorrow. It's a very exciting time, but it can also bring on some nerves, of course, for some children and teenagers. So I wanted to come on here and talk to you a little bit about some things that you can do for your teenager, with your teenager, and guide them through to empower them to be able to manage their anxiety and stress if they are feeling that, which is very, very normal to feel before school starts, and even once school really gets on the way and reality hits that summer is over and school is in session. Anxiety and stress can come upon us. I do want to just say that if it is anything that is extremely concerning, of course, to contact your doctor. But I'm here to share with you just some strategies to use with your children to help them be able to cope with it, because stress is part of our life, and this is not the only time in their lives they're going to feel overwhelmed. And we want them to be able to develop skills now so that they can have it for the rest of their lives. So before I get to some things that they can do when they're feeling stressed, I want to just give a couple strategies on accepting the stress. So I call it AAA. So it's acknowledging the stress, accepting the stress, and then using an arrow to propel you forward. So AAA. So first, you acknowledge the stress. You acknowledge what it is that is kind of causing overwhelm or anxiety. Maybe there's a certain class. Maybe it's the getting on the bus. Maybe if they're driving to school, it's about making sure that they get a parking space, all these kind of things. Maybe they don't have a class with a friend. So just kind of really acknowledging what it is that they're feeling, and that it's okay to feel that. And it's really important that they be able to express it to either themselves or to a friend, and really great if they can express what they're feeling to you and acknowledge what they're feeling, because we want teenagers to know that feelings are real and everything matters, and there's nothing wrong with what they're feeling. A matter of fact, when we acknowledge and accept our emotions, we're able to then relate to other people in a better way. So this is also real growth for them as well. So acknowledge the feelings, and also how it feels in their body. You want them to be able to recognize how their body responds to stress. So some people might get a stomach ache, they might get pain, a little discomfort or butterflies, they might get head tension, they might get kind of crampy, they might start to sweat. That's very normal. Maybe shake a little bit, or their heart might race. And like I said, if it's anything that's very, very concerning, make sure you contact your doctor. But that's another thing that's important for kids to be in touch with, is acknowledging how their body responds, which might be different than you, it might be different than their friends. But if they can start recognizing what their body is doing and know that, okay, this is my body, I am having a stressful moment, but I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to sit here for a little bit and recognize this feeling, and then be able to move on to the acceptance. So they accept that that's where they are. We want to get them to the point where they are talking positively to themselves, because most of the time in these situations, kids will go into negative self-talk, and we know that the brain hears our talk, and that is what they're going to respond to. The brain is very receptive to different messages, and so we get to choose what messages we give. And so that's something to work on with teenagers, is how they're talking to themselves. And one strategy you can use with that is, how would you talk to a friend if they were in this moment? Would you put them down and beat them up and say, this is never going to go away, this is awful, why am I doing this? Or would you try to give them positive response and say, this is okay, this is where you are now, and let's see how we're feeling with this, and then decide where to go with it. And give them positive thoughts to themselves that I am okay, I'm going to be okay, and I am strong, and I am empowered to get through this, and I have the things that I need to be able to do that. And then the next step, and of course I'm making this pretty brief, but the next step is using your arrow to be able to propel you forward. Where do you want your arrow to take you? Do you want to sit? Do you feel like the arrow needs to just kind of stay still and sit here for a couple minutes, which is perfectly fine to be in that moment, and then decide, where is that arrow going to take you? Where do you want it to go so that you are not sitting in this too long? And how do you want to feel? Do you want to keep feeling the hot feeling and the clammy hands and the heart racing, or do you want to feel in a different way? And have them express how they want to feel. And I know with teenagers, they're probably not going to sit and have the conversation with you about all this. Let's keep it real, but they might, especially if they really are having anxiety and stress and you are their safe place. And so you want to give them the opportunity to do this. But these are all strategies and steps that you can keep in your mind as you're working with them. So once they do accept where they are and using that arrow on where they want to go, I'm going to give you 10 ideas that they can have on where to go with their arrow, and then they can pick what they want. These are just 10 ideas. They can create their ideas. I would have them pick 3 or 4 of these as something to keep in the back of their mind or in their stress toolkit. So the first one is what we all need to do if we're in a stressful situation, and it is the best tool to use because, well, these are all free, but it is within your body and within your power, and it's what we're meant to do, and that is breathe. So I always teach my clients that I work with the box breath. So taking 4 breaths in, hold it for 4, and then 4 breaths out, and do it 4 times. And they could do it 5, they could do it 6, whatever feels good to them, but the box breath. Another idea is to get outside. Get outside in nature. It is amazing what studies show that nature does to our brain and calms our nervous system. So if they're getting all worked up, have them go outside. Maybe they have a special spot that they can go if you have a trampoline or swings, or maybe just the rocking chair in the front of the house, or maybe just taking a walk. Some of these you can absolutely combine together. But getting outside is very, very therapeutic and calming to the mind. Another idea is to have a journal, just an empty notebook or just doodle pad, and they can draw. They can, even though they're teenagers love to still doodle and have crayons and markers. You would be very surprised at how they really like to do this. But if you have it ready for them, it's just a tool that they can have. So they can doodle, or if they prefer to write, then journaling and getting out their feelings, and also having a gratitude journal, because then we're telling our minds, what are 5 things I'm thankful for right now? And it's amazing when the mind hears that, how it calms things and it makes us come into a state of calm. Engaging in a hobby. So what I'll say to my kids that I work with is, think about what you like to do when you're young. So maybe you like to bake, do Legos, maybe you like to do a craft, maybe you play the piano, a musical instrument, but engage in something that brings joy to you. And often with teenagers, because they're so busy with life, we need to remind them, or they need to figure out what it is that brings them joy, because sometimes they're just such sort of on a hamster wheel of going, that they almost forget what's inside of them. So that's a really good one to do. Being able to read, just chill out, watch a show. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. If that's what calms them and just kind of takes them away from that situation, and that's where their arrow goes, give them that half hour to just sit and watch TV and watch Netflix and watch a show. And if they want to read, then that's another great thing. They can read also. Exercise, so getting out and doing any kind of movement. You can get outside and do it. You could do it inside. Just go for a quick run around the block. It's amazing what a 2-minute run will do. Take a walk. If you have pets, that's an amazing opportunity for the child to be able to take their pet for a walk. And of course, doing yoga, stretching, anything like that is another great option. And doing it outside gives that double benefit of being out in nature and breathing and moving. Calling a friend, FaceTiming. I always say these kids these days are always doing like Snapchat and texting and messaging, but have them, if they really want someone to talk to, have a trusted friend list that they can actually FaceTime and talk to face to face. And that's building very good communicative and connection skills as well. Using essential oils, so having 5 or 6 essential oils on hand that they really enjoy and they're receptive to the aromatherapy is very beneficial. There are studies that show that it works neurologically through the olfactory system and calms the brain and the nervous system down. So having essential oils is great. This one sounds simple too, but having them drink water. And if it's, to digest, I always say to drink warmer water is better. But actually when you're in a state of stress, drinking cold, just like taking a cold shower, which is another one that you could do, or a cold bath, actually just kind of puts the body into a state of, okay, like, that didn't seem so bad. I'm okay now. I can do this. So just having some water, adding essential oils or some fruit to it. There's my little dog. That's what you get on the videos, live with the dogs. Adding some fruit and just having a glass of water, and it just gives them a minute to sit and decompress. They can go outside and drink their water, but that also is very good. And then number 10 would be music. Just put music on, same with movement and dance, but put the music on, whatever music they want, and let them play it loud and let them just be in their moment with music, listening to the words, and that also will calm them down. And if they can dance while listening, then that's even better because they're getting their movement in. So those are 10 ideas that they can use for their stress toolkit. And then, of course, remember the AAA is to acknowledge, accept, and use their arrow when they're feeling stressed. So I hope that helped you with all this back to school time. Our kids go back tomorrow. I know some friends already went back a couple weeks ago. And even for college kids, this is amazing. Even doing the coloring and doodling, they love it. So I hope this helped. And if it did, be sure to share my video, please, and subscribe on the button below. Good night.